Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, welcome to Three Sides of the Coin with myself, Christopher Rausch, my co-host, Carol Pilkington, and Audra Irwin. And today we are going to be talking about health, both physical health and mental health, and what it means to us in order to take care of ourselves, both mentally and physically, and also some of the controversial stuff that's out there in the world about the medical community, food choices, and whether or not to do this or do that. And our whole goal in the purpose of this show is just to share our different perspectives and our experiences with you so that you can actually take away from this what it is that's going to work for you and to try new things and to get inspired, because I'm sure you'll agree with me that if we don't have our health, we don't have anything. I mean, you can take a look at all the famous people who have died of pancreatic cancer and all sorts of different things. Their money couldn't buy them the happiness and the longevity that's really important. I mean, making money and being famous and all that other stuff is really cool, but unless you're taking care of yourself, your mind, body, and your soul, then everything else is for naught. So that's our goal today. And I'd like to introduce my co-hosts, Carol Pilkington and Audra Irwin, to say a little something and to kick the show off.
Yay! I want to dedicate this show to our good friend Carrie McLean, who is going through some health challenges of her own right now. And I'm wearing this cute little shirt she gave me in her honor. It's her Teed Off clothing line with her and Marcus Slayton, teedoff.com, and you can check out their sexy, sweet, fun golf apparel. So shout out to Carrie. And I'm Audra Irwin, the High on Life coach, and I'm super excited to share this hour with my super awesome co-host and friend.
Hi, I'm Carol Pilkington, and I'm a mentor, and I work with people who are in transition. Oftentimes it's that in-between space between ending one cycle and beginning, and there's a lot of confusion, and we've got one foot in one space, foot in another in the forward space. So I help people navigate that area with a little bit more flow and ease. And we love you. Hope you're doing okay, and if you're not, hope you get better. Thanks. Okay, Chris.
Well, I'm Christopher Rausch. I'm the creator of the Kick-Ass Guide to Life, and my thing is I'm very passionate about health. I think it's so important that we take care of ourselves and we nourish ourselves, and that we're also very educated about our bodies and what we particularly need. And one of the things that I talk to a lot of people about is when I get a lot of excuses about how they're not taking care of themselves or why they're not taking care of themselves. For me, just to kind of kick off the discussion with you guys, for me it's the why. And we've talked about this on our previous Google Hangouts. It's like, people sit there and say, oh, I hate to go to the gym, or I hate to eat healthy, or I hate vegetables. And my question to them is, okay, do you want to die early? Do you want to spend half your life in a hospital? Do you want to take a bunch of medication? And of course their answer is no, which kind of pisses me off. And so I want to ask you guys, what is your why in wanting to take care of yourself mentally and physically, and perhaps some of the things that you've had to overcome in your life to get you where you are today?
Well, for me, since I come from the metaphysical perspective, I feel that my health has a direct correlation to my quality of consciousness. And I'm not saying that when we are not conscious that it's because of that we get sick. By no means. Some things we come into this life learning certain lessons and come to us are in many ways, and sometimes it is through health crises and illnesses and things like that. So I don't want to put out the I don't want to let people know or have people thinking that it's their fault that they're sick or where I'm coming from. But I do have a direct experience of where my health was an issue. I had an experience metaphysically where And so I'll just go into that a little bit, just to give you an idea of myself and how it has helped me in my journey. I had a really bad neck problem, and I was constantly tight and in a lot of pain for 3 months. I was going to a chiropractor. I was doing therapy for those 3 months, and I did a spiritual retreat processing, and I will tell you that it was just incredible. The release I got, it was immediate. The release I got from this pain when I processed certain things. So in my experience, my connection to my consciousness.
Well, you must be vibrating at a real high frequency today, Carol, because your microphone is going out again. It's like,
Great.
Yeah, that was a little hard to follow, unfortunately.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of got like Willy Wonka, really, Charlie Brown
really?
operator sister. So maybe you can play, and I even muted my microphone. Anyway, I guess I'll just roll over here and take where you left off. And for me, my answer to that, Christopher, is I think it's just about your level of standards. Like, are you okay, with how you are in your physical body? And for me, I've always had a standard. I've always cared about my appearance and my health and wanting to be in great shape. And I had a really great role model, my grandma, who just she always walked and took supplements and ate good food and read her Bible. And so she had the whole mental and physical aspect. She did yoga. I mean, she did yoga before yoga was cool, my grandma. She's 92 now. And so I think just for me, it was just having that person, who I really respected and admired, and who, seemed to have it more together than most of the other people in my life. And I really, took to that. And so I created that standard for myself. So, yeah, I think just feeling good in your space for you is the ultimate and ideal. So.
Mm-hmm. And and because of that, how has that impacted your life and your success and your happiness by taking care of yourself? Has it enhanced it? Has it made it easier? Has it opened up doors for you for that? Because I know that some people sit there and say, oh, I have this bad luck, but unfortunately, it's about the way they take care of themselves and the way they present themselves that sometimes can actually be a blockage to making that next step. Do you think it's enhanced you by taking care of yourself and having that vitality?
Absolutely, because it's your level of energy and vitality and buoyancy. And as you know me as the High on Life coach, like I have this epic amount of energy sometimes that blows my own mind. I'm 43 and I still feel like, I'm, 8, 9 years old in my dance class, just like freaking, bouncing off walls. And I definitely, attribute that to just having a great mental attitude, having maintained my health all of these years, being very conscious of what I put in my body. I don't drink a lot. I'm like a one beer wonder. I'm a one and done girl. Like I don't even like alcohol, it's so and foods, like, I'm all about having an ice cream cone once in a while, but it's not like in my daily diet. I don't believe in fast food. I'm super anti fast food, restaurants, and so it's about cultivating a lifestyle. It's about creating an identity for yourself of who you are, and then what supports that.
So what do you think about the? Oh, I was going to say, Carol, go ahead.
Sorry, I think you hit on a really good point, Audra, with regards to our energy levels and health. If we don't have our health and our energy, it makes it really difficult for us to get out there and do the things that we want to do in the world. And I know somebody in my life that's, he has a lot to offer, and he wants to do a whole lot of things, but what stops him from moving forward on a lot is, his concern about his energy levels and his tiredness.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me?
Am I still cutting in and out?
No, I actually
No.
think you called the situation, because I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
mean,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I think that it's very important. It's like you can see the relationship to somebody's success in relation to their health and their vitality, both mentally and physically. I mean, you look at the people that are out there and just rocking it, and like us, it's like you feel good, you want to do stuff, and you do stuff, and you build more confidence, and more confidence you get, you more stuff you do. But I know for me personally, when I'm not feeling super kick-ass, that I know that my productivity goes down, and when my productivity goes down, my attitude goes down. When my attitude goes down, I don't go out as much, and when I don't go out as much, you start getting this negative, I call it the vicious cycle. So for me, I know it's important that I nourish myself, I go to the gym, go take walks, drink lots of water, lots of good supplements and stuff like that, because I know that my success, my happiness is in direct correlation to how well I feel. And one of the things I was going to ask you guys is, there's so much information now out there about gluten-free this and paleo that and Atkins diet and no GMOs and all this other stuff. What do you guys make of all that?
So,
I don't know.
Go ahead, Carol.
I actually don't know a whole lot about that stuff. I'm not a health expert, and I try and go as organic as possible in everything that I eat so that I know that I'm getting clean food, and I try not to eat very many processed foods. So I think as long as we eat the food of the earth, I think we're okay. I think we can do okay.
I think it's an individual choice. I think it varies by person and what works for each particular individual. I'm not a health expert either. I don't claim to be one. I can only speak from my own personal experience and my personal belief structure and system. And that's for me, it's like what Carol said, processed foods, microwaving plastic meals and having that chemicals, permeating your food just doesn't even logically sound like it would be a good thing to do. Fast food, those things. But organic, to me, it's just like of the earth. Anything that's of the earth, clearly it's going to be the highest integrity for you. But there's so many different things out there, and I think that if any of our listeners, are uncertain, it's best that we do our own research and our own homework. I mean, forever and a day, we've just believed that everything is bad for you and everything is, that and that, without really doing our own research and really checking in with ourselves and seeing how that lands or that resonates. Because everybody's body makeup is different, just like perfume, right? You smell perfume on somebody and you're like, oh my God, that smells so great, and you go to the cosmetics counter and you put it on you and it smells like bug spray. Your body chemicals are different. So food is really no different, right? I mean, I think that's why there's experts who that's their specialty. And there's testing, there's muscle testing, there's all kinds of things you can do. But chemicals, like so much food now has hormones and chemicals and all of those things. And that, clearly I think has affected, our obesity levels and our dis-ease in our bodies and different things like that, as well as like food coloring and children that have quote-unquote ADD. I had a friend of mine who, her daughter was highly allergic to like that red dye that they put in a lot of foods for kids, right? And it was causing her...
Red 40.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, I was actually just recently doing some research on that. It's funny you mentioned that.
Huh, yeah, so there's so many things, but I think it's just being conscious. Like maybe try, and honestly starting a food journal. That really helped me because I was like, God, I was feeling tired, and your food can heal you. Like food can heal you if you eat the right things, your greens and, green leafy vegetables and, the things of the earth like that. and making sure you're getting the right amount of proteins and all of the proper nutrition that's going to serve and support you. But even tracking, like if you eat something, you know, if you eat peanuts and you swell up, clearly you had a reaction, right? Well, maybe if you're lethargic or your head is like in a fog or, you know, different other variations, you know, check in with what did you eat? You know, start tracking and being your own health advocate. Maybe starting there. That's just kind of some of the things that helped support me. And
No, that's really good. And the thing I learned about that is before, when I was younger, obviously, you know, you eat whatever you want, and for me, I didn't gain weight, and I was like, okay, McDonald's, whatever, just, you know, I didn't think about food in such a way that our mutual friend, Dr. Linda, when I went to her and I hired her as my food coach, my nutritional coach, you know, she opened my eyes to so much. She's like, you know, Chris, think about what you put into your body. Is this nourishing me? Is this providing me benefits, health benefits? You know, she really cautioned me to think about that we associate as a society food as pleasure. You know, it's like, oh, I'm guilty. I have, you know, some Girl Scout cookies right here because I also think life's about balance. But she really opened my eyes. She's like, okay, think about that. You know, your goal in life is to live a long, healthy life and stay out of a hospital. So if you're going to McDonald's 2 or 3 times a week, or if you're drinking a lot or whatever you're doing, is that in line with your ultimate goal? And it wasn't. And the thing I want to share with the listeners a little bit about this is I didn't eat vegetables. I didn't eat salads. I didn't like any of that stuff. I hated it. And it wasn't until I changed my language that I used with myself. Yeah, I'm loco. When I changed the language that I used with myself, only then did I open up and I actually tried stuff, and I actually started eating salads, and I dumped a bunch of stuff on there. But now I'm at a point where I crave salads. And then the recent thing I did to prove it to myself, because the language we use is so important. I want to get you guys' intake on this. I eat broccoli now, and up until last year, I despised broccoli. I could not stand I would get a little sliver of broccoli inside of a chicken bowl, and I'd be like, ugh. But I sat there and said, okay, Chris, if you take your own advice, can you condition yourself to like broccoli? And what I did, the first thing I started doing is I stopped saying, I hate broccoli. I started thinking, okay, broccoli is nutritious for me, and it's good for me. It's going to help me stay out of a hospital. And then I dumped a bunch of cheese on it. Started eating it. And it was like, okay. And then the next time, my wife made it with sauteed with a little butter and some salt and pepper. And it was a little harder. You know, I had some mashed potatoes or something like that, and I scooped in the mashed potatoes and I ate it. And then the next time, I ate it without the mashed potatoes and just with salt and pepper. And now I'm to the point where I can literally almost eat it raw. And I'm so happy because I know that it's good for me. I know it's fueling my body, but I didn't know that until I went and saw a nutritional expert. So what do you guys think about it? What do you think about the conditioning we've had from our parents, you know, about gratification towards food? What are your guys' experience with that?
Well, actually, right before you said that, I was thinking to myself that, you know, sometimes it goes beyond. It's about, you know, some people's love affair with food, or the certain foods that they go to for comfort, you know, they associate with love, you know, and things like that, because maybe when they were sick, their grandma, you know, would feed them cookies, and they, you know, that was their way of comfort. I mean, there's so many things to explore beyond just your diet. It's definitely the mental balance in that. And also, you know, certain foods, like, I don't like certain foods. Well, maybe because your parents didn't like them. Like, you know, sometimes we take on that. If somebody doesn't like it, we don't like it, or we. So that's part of it, I think, is childhood. How you were raised. You know, was it comfort? Did you, you know, get food for comfort, and some of your habits? But Carol, what do you think?
Well, I agree with how we were raised. If vegetables weren't really introduced into any other particular foods weren't introduced to our diets, and they weren't, you know, they weren't household staples. It takes a little bit of getting used to. That can't stand vegetables, and so it's really hard for them to either ways, like supplements. You can take whole food supplements to counter that. Mm-hmm. And you can juice is really helpful to not have to actually eat vegetables. I grew up in a household where I got a little bit of everything from others, and so I was brought up with all that stuff in my diet. I'm not fond of some things. I eat more of some things than others, but I think it's, as long as we have some way of intake for the things that are really good for us and that our body needs, I think we're okay, no matter what the form is.
Mm-hmm. And I think, Audra, you had a great suggestion for our viewers out there, is keep a food journal and see what works for you and what doesn't. I mean, I went through a battery of tests last year to try to figure out why I was feeling like crap, and they did a gluten allergy test on me, and they said, no, you're not allergic to gluten, and did a vitamin test and everything. But what I've done recently is I said, okay, I'm going to cut out most bread and most simple carbs, and I'm going to see if that is what's doing it. And trying different things, like right now I'm not drinking, so it's like, okay, is alcohol doing it? And I think by a process of elimination, we can all find what is going to work for us. Some people like, 3 large meals a day. Me personally, I eat a bunch of small meals throughout the day so that I'm constantly, I don't ever get to that empty gas tank feeling where it's like, oh my God, I got to stop somewhere and I got to gorge. What do you guys do as far as when you're rushed and you're out on the road and you're pressed for time? Because I know that's a lot of the complaints I hear, and a lot of the excuses I hear is, well, Chris, I'm on the road and I'm doing this and it's just easier for me to do that. What do you guys do?
I think it's really important to plan, and if you know you're going to be out there on the road somewhere at any given time, and your intention is to eat more healthy, then you just plan a little bit and bring the foods that you know are going to satisfy you. I think for me, apples satisfy me. They satisfy my sweet tooth, and they also satisfy me my chewing. Sometimes I need to chew things versus drink things so that I feel like I'm eating something. It helps me to do that when I'm on the road. I try and bring things that I know that I'll enjoy for me. So I try and plan ahead.
Smart advice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Plan ahead, and just be resourceful. And how important is it to you, right? Because, I mean, if you're dedicated and committed to it, you're going to find a way. It's just part of your standards. It's not acceptable to not, fuel your body right and adhere to how you want to support it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got to be resourceful too. I mean, one of the tips that I had for our viewers out there is, and I've had to learn this, is when you go to a restaurant, you just because something's not on the menu doesn't mean you can't ask for it. I mean, I've gone to places where they're like, oh, they have chicken that's smothered in this sauce and blah blah blah, but you can ask for something like, I just want a grilled piece of chicken and some steamed vegetables, and most places will give that to you. I mean, if it's not on the menu, you just got to be a little bit resourceful. And if you have to go to a fast food restaurant, pick the best fast food restaurant that you possibly can. Maybe Baja Fresh or Rubio's or one of those places is a little bit better than going to McDonald's where the food stays the same if you leave it out for 6 months. I mean, that's I hear so many excuses in there. I mean, you can get these freezer things and put them in your bag, and if you're on the road, that way you can have your food right there. There's just a lot of different things to do. I know I got turned on to Chipotle. I don't know if they have them all over the country, but it's all organic and grass-fed, and so if I'm out on the road, at least I can see, okay, where's a Chipotle or a Subway, so I can eat well, because it's easy for us to kind of go, well, shucks, there's nothing out there, I guess I'll go through In-N-Out. I mean, In-N-Out's actually good compared to McDonald's, but kind of switching gears a little bit, talking about health. You guys have heard me talk about the medical community and doctors and that whole thing. What is your whole take on the medical community and what they're saying, as far as pharmaceutical companies and doctors, and just your overall take on that?
Oh, you opened up the can of whoop-ass. You opened up the can of whoop-ass. Yeah, big pharma. Conspiracy theory. My opinion isn't the grandest around that. I believe that I truly believe it's become more about the almighty dollar and not about true health concerns, in my opinion. And I think there are so many holistic approaches that work great, and I lean more towards those personally. Acupuncture, chiropractors, essential oils. There's just so many, food, taking care of your food, because unfortunately they're not addressing the root. They're just putting a Band-Aid on it. Here's a pill, pop a pill, take that, instead of really, I know there are some out there, this is not like everywhere, but predominantly that's the way it is it's like, here's your prescription, and the pharmaceutical companies are getting rich, and people are still ill, right? And so I just believe in, again, being your own health advocate, like what is underneath. And I think that's a part of the segment of the show that we haven't got to yet, is your dis-ease, right? Like any disease in our bodies anyway is caused from unprocessed emotions and certain traumas and certain things. There's more to it. There's more to it than just surface. And if we could just get to that part, ultimate healing comes into play. But it goes a lot deeper than just slapping a Band-Aid on it or giving a pill. How many people do you know that are depressed and are on antidepressants, and they're still fucking depressed, right? So I just, I'll stop with that, but that's kind of my thought.
Carol?
Yeah, that's where I was actually going early. When I'm not saying that we don't come in to learn certain lessons, and some of those through health issues. So I don't want to speak glibly about it, but there are oftentimes our physical ailments are in direct correlation to our state of being and our consciousness. And when we can deal with our emotions and feelings at a much deeper level, sometimes those physical ailments recede and get better. But by the same token, with regards to the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies out there, I think there are some doctors that are real alternative and holistic methods of treating their patients. And shake as well. Some people just want the magic bullet and the quick fix. So there are two sides of the coin, Personally, I take drugs if I can stay away from them for anything. But you just have to. I know some people that are on blood pressure medication, and if they weren't, they'd be dead. But it's just each person has their own issues to work with, and in the best way they can. And so that's my stand on it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. You guys know all the stuff I've been through. Just to share with our viewers out there, I've had a couple of different situations where I've gone to the doctor, and I remember one time I went there and I went for my yearly physical, and I knew I wasn't healthy. My mom was living in my garage. I was having issues. I was eating, drinking, and smoking. I wasn't exercising, and I went in for my yearly physical, and lo and behold, Dr. Nelson says, "Wow, oh my God, your blood pressure's up and your cholesterol's up," and like you said, he starts writing these things. And he hands me these two pieces of paper, and I said, "What am I going to do? Make an airplane out of this?" He goes, I have to put you on blood pressure medication and cholesterol medication. And I said, no, we're not doing that. We're not putting that in my body. I said, I tell you what, give me 6 weeks. I'll go out and do what I need to do. I'll come back and I'll retake my blood tests, and we'll see where we're at. And he's like, Chris, you can't mess with this, and you're playing with fire, and you're at dangerous levels and all this other crap, trying to put the fear in me. And I said, no, just let me have it. 6 weeks is not going to kill me, and let me come back. I went out and I completely, because I had the pain point now, I was like, okay, shit, now I've got the data. It's confirming that I'm not taking care of myself. And I quit smoking. I was just socially smoking. Quit drinking, stopped eating bad, started exercising. And within a matter of 6 weeks, my numbers were back to normal, And I went back, and it was funny because Doc Nelson was looking at the paper, and his little iPad, and he looks at me with the straightest face, and he goes, "What did you do?" And I said, "I just started taking care of myself again. You know, I don't need your stupid, medications." And it pisses me off to no end when my friends come to me like, "Oh, I went to the doctor the other day and he put me on blood pressure medication." And I'm staring at him and he's got a belly like he's 8 months pregnant. And I said, "And you're not going to take it, right?" Like, "Nope, I'm taking it. He says I need it." And I'm like, you need to lose the gut. You need to get out there and exercise some more, and you probably can lower your blood pressure because now you're going to take the blood pressure medication, and it's going to cause some other thing, and then you're going to need a pill for that, and then you're going to need a pill for that, and then you're going to need a pill for that. And it just pisses me off when people sit there and go, "Oh, I guess that's what it is." And it's like, no, you don't have to. I mean, I went to a doctor one time for a sore throat. For a sore throat. Ear, nose, and throat specialist. Puts the little thing down my throat, looks at it, and all of a sudden he turns around, starts scribbling something down. I'm like, "So do I need a endoscopy, something or other? What do I need? What's going on?" And I was a little worried. Not normally I don't worry about a sore throat, but a couple of days earlier, the FedEx guy at my work said that one of his coworkers died of throat cancer, and he had no idea he had it, and so it kind of scared me. So I go to see the doctor, and he starts writing, and he turns around, and he hands me this prescription. I swear to God. And I look down at it, and I'm like, Prilosec. I'm like, what the hell is this? I didn't come in here for heartburn or acid reflux. And he goes, "Well, how do you know you don't have it?" And I said, "I'm pretty confident I don't have it." He goes, "Well, what happens is, the acid while you're sleeping can come up and damage your throat. And so just go ahead and take it. And if it works, then that's what it was. And if it doesn't work, then it's just a sore throat." And I was like, this is why you guys practice medicine? I wadded up the thing. I walked out of his office. I didn't do it in front of him. I wadded up the prescription thing, and I was just like, okay, thanks, but no thanks. Went home, and I Googled Prilosec. And I looked at all the side effects. And I thought, okay, I got a sore throat. Now I'm going to have anal itching. I'm going to have bleeding eyes. I'm not going to be able to hold my flatulence. I'm not going to be able to have sex. I'm going to throw up spontaneously. I'm like, you're an idiot. My biggest thing, if I could just get across to you guys out there, is just be knowledgeable and don't sit there and take what these doctors say as gospel. My mom had an infected leg, and everybody thought it was MRSA, and put her under quarantine, and they're like, it's MRSA, which is a highly contagious bacteria. I'm like, no, her leg is infected because it's not getting oxygen to the lower limb, so it's not healing. The tissue is dying. Even I said that. I'm not even a freaking doctor. And they're like, no, it's MRSA. And then one day the doctor comes in and goes, "Oh, she has arterial insufficiency." I'm like, I'm a Google doctor, which doctors hate, by the way. They hate it when you walk in there and you think you know what's going on. That pisses them off, which is still kind of fun to do. So yeah,
that's just so programming of the fear of God in you, right? Like the fear of worst case scenario, doom and gloom, like big, hairy monster. Like that's how society, unfortunately, people roll that way, right? It's the biggest thing, right? And but it all comes back to preventative maintenance, right? If we can be proactive and do not have to do damage control, but take care of ourselves right now, when you're not feeling good, something is out. Listen to your body. Listen to yourself. We are our own source of information. We're our own friggin' Google. Like we got it all right here. We just listen to ourselves. And there's so many resources. Like I love Louise Hay. I'm so grateful that years and years ago I discovered Louise Hay and really got the concept that we can heal our bodies and heal our lives, through our our mindsets and different components, that it's disease, that it's unprocessed emotions a lot of the time, and it's really, that's the thing that nobody dives into. It's like, well, what's going on in your life? Like, how can I support you? Like, we give ourselves the gift of that nourishment as well as, the other for ourselves. And like you, I just recently had an experience where I healed my hand. I don't have health insurance, and I took a knife and jabbed it on accident through the top of my hand, and it went in like an inch. It's a serrated knife, and it like jacked up. My whole hand swelled up, and I was like, and of course, I personally don't like going to the doctor. I didn't want to be on a series of antibiotics. I didn't want to have freaking x-rays. And I took my essential oils and just loaded them up, and it's like unbelievable. so there are, like, I personal experience that there are alternative therapies that can heal you. So we don't always have to go down that road. It would have cost me so much money had I done that. And I love that I have my own personal testimonial of the power of the earth, right? And the goodness that we've always had, and getting back to that and gravitating back to those things like food for healing, and taking time to put yourself in a group, a tribe of people or friends or people who is a safe space for you to air whatever's coming up in your life. You've got to have that support group where you can, just divulge it all, and there's no judgment, and there's no, you don't have to carry it all. I mean, we're all carrying around a bunch of baggage that's fucking killing us, So unzip it, air it out, let your friends carry some of it, not carry it, but like help you with the load, help you lighten it. So that's that. I'll shut up now. Carol Pilkington?
Yes, ma'am. I think you said it all. I love it.
So moving the discussion a little bit off of food and doctors and whatnot, for me, one of the critical components of both my mental and my physical health is exercise. I learned early on that alcohol and drugs were not the Audra's exercising. Were not the answer. It was like, okay, I'm stressed and I'm tired and I'm angry, so let me drink and smoke pot. And then it was like somebody turned me on to go into working out, and I was like, okay, I've got this endorphin release and I feel good. But one of the things that I hear, from people is like, oh, I hate exercising, or, I hate gyms, or I don't have time, and stuff like that. So I wanted to see what your guys' tips were. And guys isn't actually a word, and I'm trying not to say that word anymore because it's not a word. What are your tips when people come up with those excuses? I mean, I have my own, but I want to see what you guys think.
Oh, bullshit.
Carol?
I hate exercising.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I love the truth. Awesome.
So what do you do as an alternative, or do you do anything as an alternative?
Sometimes I walk. I find things that I really enjoy doing. Like, I enjoy yoga. I enjoy walking. So if I have to exercise, I'll try and do things that I really enjoy, and I recommend doing it with people that you enjoy being with. So, for instance, I've taken yoga classes with friends, and I go walking with friends just so I have company. So those are the two things that I really enjoy for exercising. I think it helps me stay limber, and it's toning, and it's also good for the mind. It's good for releasing and opening up the mind.
Absolutely.
And there's always sex. You can always have sex.
There you go.
Yep, good for burning calories and staying limber.
Mental health, physical health, I think it encompasses everything.
Yeah, even if it's by yourself.
Whatever it takes.
I had to say it. This forearm's bigger than this one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So what are your tips, Miss Audra, besides boinking?
My tips for what specifically?
Exercising, getting your physical exercise.
Oh. Well, I think
Miss Runner,
honestly,
I just saw you just completed a marathon or something.
I do love to run. Running is I absolutely love to run, and I didn't up until 4 years ago. Thought it was ridiculous, and who would want to do it? And then you give it a go, and it's like you get the whole runner's high thing, right? But for me, I think it, like Carol was saying, it's really personal. It's really like you have to find what works for you. Like if you really don't like, I personally love to exercise. I'm one of those freaks, right? I was a dancer since I was 3 years old, so I was always very active and music, and I have to move. I love to move. I'm not happy if I'm not, moving in some capacity. And so So I say, if it's nature, find like Carol said, she has the strength in numbers. She has her accountability support. She has somebody to do it with her, so it doesn't feel like she's doing, her workout. And so for me, I think it's just finding out what it is that you want to do and being resourceful enough to find the ways to do it. So if you know you need exercise and you don't like it, what are some things that you like to do? Like personally, I love nature. And I love to do my exercise in nature. So I happen to live, right across from the beach and have a routine where I run 3.5 miles, on the beach. And it's like I get my meditation time. I get my God time. I get my connection to myself time. I get, everything all out in one place. But I would just say, what do you enjoy doing? Even if I hate exercise, well, do you like to go bowling? Well, bowling's exercise, right? So you just kind of think outside the bun, since we're talking food, and just get creative and have fun with it and just make it joyful. I mean, anything that you resist, all the more reason to be resourceful and find a way that's going to meet that need, but in a way that supports you and aligns with what's going to make you want to do it. I hear sirens. Is that in your? Yeah.
I think that's near me. I'm not sure. I think what you guys are saying is totally awesome because it's so true. It's a personal thing, but it's like for me, I like going to the gym, but I also like going hiking. I like going biking. I like going walking. But I've recently put my resourceful hat on, and at work, we sit there. I work a 9 to 5. Have meetings in my office and stuff like that. And so I went to my boss and I said, hey, can I have walking meetings? And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, if I'm having a meeting with 3 or 4 people, can we go walk for that 45 minutes while we're having our meeting? And he goes, yeah, I don't see any problem with that. So he goes, that's actually a really good idea. And I said, I sit there on my butt all day, so if I can go have a 45-minute walking meeting, I get some exercise, I get some vitamin D, get some oxygen going. And I started doing that, and the people that I was doing it with, they were like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of game. And then they were doing it, and they're like, oh, I feel so much energized, and the creativity and the discussion was a lot better because you're moving, and that. And then another thing I want to try, I haven't done it yet, but it's getting a Bosu ball for instead of a chair. You're sitting on that, and then it actually engages your core. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do, but I agree with you guys. Find a buddy, get somebody that you can go do something with, frisbee golf, whatever it might be. And just get out there and do a little bit, because what I found in people I've coached is like, oh, I hate exercising and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, do you like going to a hospital and having an IV stuck in your arm and having the words cholesterol and heart attack and stroke rattled across your chart? No. Okay. So what do you think about trying this and finding some people that are going to get you out there and get active? And sure enough, they go out there. And then they call me back and they're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I'm getting stronger. I had a guy, an elderly guy, he stopped doing stuff. He goes, my hands, I can't do anything with my hands anymore. And I said, well, go get you one of those hand grips. And I learned this from a long time ago. Go get a hand grip and start strengthening your hands. And sure enough, he went and did it. I said, keep it in your car. And when you're sitting at a stoplight, squeeze them, because when you start losing your hand strength, you start losing your ability to do stuff, and then you just want to sit there and watch television and bitch about the news. And so he did that, and he's like, yeah, Chris, I've got my hand strength up, and I'm doing stuff now. I'm out working out in the garden, and I'm, it's just amazing if you just take a little bit of action, and it just builds upon itself, and you get more self-confidence, and you feel better, and you start looking better, and it's just amazing what you can do in your life when you apply it.
You have to shut down your excuse factor. Like, you really have to shut it down. Like, right now I have, some clients that I coach that live in very cold climates, and and their excuse is it's too cold, right? They're not, and there's so many resources. Like even somebody got that game Wii. I mean, you get like a workout bowling with your Wii game. I mean, it's just according to, honoring that commitment to yourself, really. And but I just wanted to share that. It's like we can have all the excuses in the world that make sense to us, that let us off the hook, but check in with, am I softening it, or am I, cutting myself slack, or am I really letting myself off the hook in that way? And what other ways can you achieve that? Because there's always another way to achieve it. So move your excuses aside and fill in with the truth.
Mm-hmm. And just to build upon that, I mean, people have told me, well, I don't have access to workout equipment. I don't have blah, 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 blah. I proved to this lady, I said, just go on and Google Taebo video. And sure enough, they went on YouTube, Taebo video. There was a 45-minute Taebo video in there. I'm like, okay, so what's your excuse? You got a TV, you can actually do it. You can actually watch television and do exercises. One of the things I learned when I did P90X for a while, I was so shocked at what we can do just with our own bodies as far as exercise go, push-ups, sit-ups, get a pair of resistance bands and use them at your desk every 45 minutes and do a set of curls or something like that. It's just amazing what you can do with such simple stuff that it just blows my mind why people don't take care of themselves. And then later on in life, they're like, oh, I guess I should have. It's like, wow, it didn't take that much. But one of the other questions I have for you guys is we're talking about health. And I know, Carol, you could speak to this, and of course, Audra, is our state of mind. You guys talked about it before. We can hang on to the negative emotions, which can cause pain in our body. I can't remember the name of it, but somebody introduced me to it recently. It's not an NLP, but it's basically they find they talk about a memory, and that it's actually located with a pain. Like for me, my back. So this lady would talk to me about my stories and then find the pain where it's associated. Sometimes there's a mental and a physical correlation. I know, Carol, you're big into meditation and stuff like that. So let's talk about mental health a little bit and what we can share with our viewers as far as what they can do to have better mental clarity and vitality.
Yeah, I think that's a really important piece of it. I had I'll repeat what I said earlier with regards to having a neck pain. And I had tweaked my neck, and for 3 months, and I wasn't getting that much better relief. But I did an enlightenment, I did a process, and something, a belief system, an emotional block got released, and instantaneously that pain was gone. So it told me right there that my emotional state, my state of being was directly related to the pain in my body.
Thank you. Yeah, that's huge.
It was.
I think pay attention to your resistance. Sometimes my biggest thing lately is not pushing through resistance, but meeting it where it is and letting it give us the feedback it just wants to give us and the information that it has for us. And then we don't have anything to push against. We dissipate whatever that is, that resistance wall is when we're with it, and then we can flow and move into that space. I have a question for you, Carol, because I know the power of telling stories, right? Like if we're like, oh, I hate that, I don't like that, or whatever, that's the story we tell, and that's, we keep telling that story, and that's what's real for us. And I know that you ultimately can't squirt Febreze on poop if it's not true, but like, what if you were supposed to, what if you were to say, instead of, I hate exercising, like, tell a different story about exercising, would you have a different experience? And I'm just asking you because that you happen to be somebody who said that I don't really particularly like to exercise. I'm just wondering your thoughts on that.
Even though I don't like it, could I tell myself another story? I love it. I have to tell the truth. I don't like it. I meet myself where I'm at, and I'm honest about it, and yet I know it's important for my body, and I find ways in which, creative ways in which to fulfill that need. It's really important for us to tell the truth and where we are at, and what we want to do, what we can do forth. So I know where you're going with that. The stories we tell ourselves, the language that we speak, it's really important. And so even the greatest area of strength I work around it and I work with it. I think working with something and understand what we need to do in order to fulfill those needs is really important. But we need to tell the truth.
Absolutely agree. And I think that that resistance that I was speaking about is really the truth, right? That's what's there. Like if you're resisting doing something, you know, there's some information there for you, right? And
Right.
so that's part of it. So how about you, Chris? What about your own question?
I think it's super important. One of the, because I mean I've suffered with depression most of my life in one form or another. People are usually surprised of me hearing about that. I don't know if you guys could see, but I'm wearing my lime green tie today. I went and presented at a school about mental health, and I haven't really shared it too much with people. I've said I've had downtimes, but chemically my physiology is just not balanced sometimes, and I have those negative thoughts, and I have I get tired, and it all processes together. But for me, one of the things I know I need, and I realized it again last night, is I need something to look forward to. For my mental health, it's like when you have something to look forward to, whether it's camping or it's whatever it might be, it's amazing the endorphin release I've found for myself. It's like, oh my God, I'm looking forward to going camping. I'm looking forward to doing this, and it's amazing just that little thing alone. Because I talk to people, I'm like, what are you looking forward to? Sometimes I don't ask people, like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, what are you looking forward to? I'm like, that's a really good question. I don't know. I'm like, you have nothing to look forward to? Well, I'm looking forward to retirement. Oh, when are you going to retire? Oh, 60 years from now. Okay, great. But, because I know that in addition to exercise for me mentally, it's having stuff to look forward to, but also, and this is controversial, is talking about it. Like you guys were saying, talk about it with somebody. When you're having a down day, when you're feeling the blues, talk to somebody that is going to be honest with you, but also compassionate, and be like, hey, guess what? We all have those kind of days, and I know that really helps for me. And just being around the right people. I know if I hung around guys that got up on Sunday morning and went to the store and got a 12-pack of beer and a bag of potato chips and watched football all day, that I would probably be like them. But instead, I'm surrounded by people like, hey, Chris, let's go for a bike ride. Hey, Chris, let's go for a walk. Hey, Chris, let's go to the gym, or whatever. I know that's important. One of the things that I'm working on better is meditation, because I've taken Carol's class before, and I know that the struggle with me is to shut up my mind, tell my mind to shut up, but also to quiet it down to hear what comes out and deal with that and not just push it away, because I know we tend to be wanting to be strong and everything, but that doesn't do anything for your mental health, in my opinion.
And I think you've heard of them, I need a mental health day. You've heard people say that. It's the truth. You need to take some mental health time, because what happens is we go and we push and we do, and we have, these busy lives, and a lot of times we don't take care of ourselves because we're taking care of everything else. And then we get sick, and that's the universe's way of slowing us down, to get us to slow down. So it is about the balance, like on the 7th day we rest, like give yourself a day to rest, do something where, you allow yourself to recharge your batteries, and that you have, those support systems, a place to vent, a place to express, an outlet somewhere, whether it be creatively through art or, whatever. But it's just crucial, to have that all in check in some way or form, or it comes back in balance in a way that maybe not feels really good.
Yeah, you bring over a great point, is to play. I mean, as kids, we love to play, and we get imaginative, and we do stuff. And then as grown-ups, we don't play as much, and I know that for myself. I use a calendar, and I schedule all my stuff out, and I realized, okay, let me just put on there play, whether it's a video game or guitar or whatever it might be. And I started looking at the color coding of my calendar, and I realized I don't make enough time for play. And I just recently figured this out, listening to Dr. Brene Brown, she's a phenomenal person, talk about shame and vulnerability. I found out that I hang up about relaxing, because all my life my mom we don't relax, we don't sit down, we don't take a break, we don't take it easy, we are constantly learning, we're constantly doing. And I found out I had a shame trigger towards allowing myself to play and just to have fun and just to be like, okay, I'm going to play video games for 2 hours. And that's one thing I noticed that's helped me out quite a bit, is when we stop and we refuel, then our progress and our happiness becomes just so much more abundant, for me at least.
I
Give
actually have
yourself permission.
What was
I
that?
actually have a story about that the other day. A friend of mine, I had a gift card for a day at Ivy Day Spa, and I have had that gift card for 2 years.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was saying to her that I had to wait until I deserved it. I had to wait until there was a reason to reward myself. I've said it in a jokingly way, but I think underneath it was the truth. And so I made it a point to ask her if she wanted to go with me. And so we went and we had a spa day. And I think we don't give ourselves permission to take time out because we think we can only do it as a reward, but we really need it on a regular basis to recharge and rejuvenate ourselves creatively and otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's what I was saying right before you spoke, was that we have to give ourselves that permission. We have to give ourselves permission to be human, to have a down day, to and let go of the guilt and the shame and all those things that we attach to those things. And we're human beings.
So what are your final thoughts, guys?
Carol, you go. You want to go?
Well, everything that we've talked about today with regards to ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and in every other way. Don't do that. It has long-lasting effects, long-term effects. Eating properly, our emotional health, having a support system where we can actually release our emotions and feelings, and where we can express and be ourselves, so that we know that we can be what we need to be, whomever we need to be, whatever we need to say, and eat properly, get the proper rest, which is something that we hadn't talked.
Yeah, big time.
We need to get the proper rest. So that's my 2 cents.
Awesome 2 cents.
And I just say, your emotions are your guidance system. We, instead of, avoiding them or, trying to distract from them or numb them out, be with them and let them guide you to what's right and what's true for you. And from that space, you'll know what's right. So you're your own best advocate. We're our own best advocate, and it's great to get other people's input and ideas and information, but we have to carry it here and connect here and see how it lands with us and what's true and right for us. That's that. Happy Friday.
And I agree with both of you guys, what you guys are saying. I mean, it's so important that you listen to yourself and you surround yourself with knowledgeable people, and that you don't just take what the doctors are saying or what the news media is saying, the commercials are saying, and just ask yourself, what is your why? And am I moving towards it or away from it as you are, eating and not exercising, whatever it is that you're doing? Of course you want to have a cheat day. I'm a firm believer in a cheat day. I get one this week. I haven't had it yet. I'm looking forward to it. It's tomorrow night. So I have something to look forward to. I know I'm going to have some food that's going to taste good. It's going to make me feel good for a little bit, and I'm not going to feel guilty about that. I'm going to enjoy it. But, it's just about, okay, am I comfortable with the choices I'm making today that perhaps might wind up not suiting me later on in life? Because when we're young, we feel invincible. But as we get older, it's like, oh, wow, now I've got this problem. I got that problem. We start taking the medications, and I've seen people go from vitality to nursing home. I'm not even kidding, in a couple of years. I've just seen that. They just give up. So my advice is just make those small choices and those small decisions, and you're going to build the confidence, and it's going to be fabulous. And, we're here as a resource. I mean, you could feel free to contact either one of us. If you want to contact me, you can go to my website. It's ChristopherRausch.com. You can see it there on the lower third. And I encourage you to get in touch with these guys because we're real people going through real experiences that we want to help you. So reach out to us and let us know what you think and what works for you also.
Ditto, ditto, ditto.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, we have a Facebook group, the coin, the numeral 3 sides of the coin. So come on, make your comments, suggestions on topics that you might want us to discuss in future episodes of the coin. We'd love to hear back from you. I'm Carol Pilkington, and as I said before, I'm a mindfulness mentor, and I would love to, if you need any support in transition or anything like that, anything like Chris was saying, feel free to call or contact either one of us. My website is right there at the bottom of the screen as well.
And I say walk like an Egyptian, and that.
Walk like a badass.
Don't ask me what my rant. That's my randomness. But anyhow, anyway, I love you guys. Happy Friday, happy weekend. I appreciate all of the awesome tuners, wherever you are, whoever you are. Just know that you are totally more than enough, highly valued just for being on this precious earth. Take good care of you. Much love to all y'all.
Rock on
We'll keep you posted. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just saying,
Sorry.
rock on with your bad self.
We'll get to when our next episode is going to be, and we'll talk to you all soon. Stay tuned. Thank you.